bonus episode, Tom.
Love it. I love giving away stuff, Jer.
Kind of floating in the wind, not attached to an actual season of the Tom and Jerry show, but we said we just wouldn't fuck off and leave people bereft of Tom and Jerry style entertainment. We said we'd keep the bonus episodes rolling, and when we have guests as good as we have this week, Tom, why wouldn't we keep it going? That's what I want to know.
I know, and what I was thinking too is, just as you were saying, like, are we doing enough for the people? But I think a lot of people shut down the shop and that's it, but we don't. We've left a hatch open. You can order late into the night, basically, is what we're doing. You can get your drink, crisps, and whatever else you need through the hatch from us, and we'll keep that going until season 6. But this is
gotta be said, Tom, there's a lot of people doing fucking nothing for me, so
well, this has been an absolute joy. I'm so glad you
this is good. Not you people in. Oh hell no, if you're listening to this, well done. And this has been, like I say, with the guests that we're getting, Tom, forget about it. They're better than we are.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And their stories have hammered home exactly how rough it can be to do a public appearance in any platform whatsoever. And to be fair, we're getting a lot of nice feedback. We're getting people are approaching us now to actually be on the show. Would you believe that?
Yes, and people are approaching me and saying, I always wanted to be a stand-up comedian, and then I listened to this podcast, and nope, never again. That dream is gone.
Fending them off at the bridge, like a couple of trolls. We're fending them off at the bridge. Nobody's crossing over into stand-up world as a result of this show. But
well, listen, Tom. Yeah, we'll give it a without further ado. We're going to hand you over to Miss Emma Doran, longtime friend of both Tom and Jerry, fellow comedian, and. We were saying to ourselves, I wonder, does she have a war story that would really put the horror through us? And what do you know, Tom?
She absolutely fucking did. So, as Jerry said, without any further ado, Emma Doran, everybody. I am very excited. She's one of my favorite people of all time. I think she's been on my podcast about 74 times. I always get excited when Emma's on board. Emma Doran, how are you keeping?
I'm great. Thanks for asking me along.
Well, you see,
at all, Emma.
You're a soldier like us. Like, you've been in the trenches for long enough now that you know, there's been loads of lovely gigs, no doubt, but nobody wants to hear about the lovely gigs. And myself and Jerry, for the longest time, had a segment, but it was starting to get to a point where we didn't want to depress the life out of everybody.
Yeah.
So Jerry came up with a suggestion of going finding some people to tell us their horrific stories of gigs.
Yeah, but you know what's so funny, when the name of the Zoom came up, Emma's worst gig ever, it felt like as if we were just starting to like aptly name Zoom gigs, you know, that kind of way. And it's just like, because they've all been pretty bad. I mean, you do them for the few quid, but
yeah,
they're not
I know.
gigs.
When I was writing, each time I've written that has dawned on me each time, and you're the first person to pick up on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in writing this, I'm actually telling you what may be happening this evening. Yeah, just to let everybody know this is going to be shite. So,
like, they're never as bad as I build them up in my head, but like about half an hour before I'm due to do it, I just walk around the house going, "I'm a fucking Zoom gig, I'm a fucking Zoom gig," and my family just looks at me going, "No one's holding a gun to your head," you know what I mean, like the usual thing. But no, so they're all
you see, I'm the only person here that hasn't done a Zoom gig. I haven't been asked to do any of them. So make it that what you will. But I'm figuring like a death in a Zoom gig is like when a drone pilot operator in the States gets his plane shot down in Afghanistan, and he's like in Washington DC going, "Ah, damn it, I got shot down." But it's not like being there. It's not like being like in the sandy desert climb.
No, I don't think a death is as bad, because a lot of the time you can rationalize it much more in your own brain, because any of the ones that have been really bad, coincidentally it's been a case of like hardly anyone has had their cameras on and they've all been muted.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
There must be,
you can kind of let yourself off with that one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it just
there must be a whole new raft of excuses, because I know I had all my excuses like down to a T as to why I would have shit gigs. Like, it's a Wednesday, nobody laughs on a Wednesday. The lights weren't down. So I'm assuming when it's a Zoom gig, there's a whole new raft of, the broadband let me down there.
Yeah, it was delayed. It was delayed is a good one. But there has been a few where I've honestly just been been really tempted to just close the laptop. You see, you've less excuses.
Yeah.
I always turned up to gigs. I'd never be one of those like flakes unless it was actually something real. But there's real temptation to just flake and just close the laptop and just go, fuck it.
Yeah, power outage. Somebody hit a power line, lads. Nothing I can do with it. Meanwhile, you put on the fucking kettle to make a cup of tea for yourself. Yeah, to drown your sorrows. Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I wonder will I still get paid for that? But no, I'm trying to get on board with it, and there's a few outdoor ones coming up, so we'll see how they go. But yeah, I've so many bad gigs.
Root into your handbag of bad gigs and just give us
if you've got any Emma, like, you know, that you went out and told a few jokes and people didn't laugh. Hey, we've all had that. Like, give us one that's
a juicy one. Okay, well, this is one that is. I think this is one that comedians in particular will empathize with. So I had, God, I got out. This is obviously a good few years ago, like well pre-COVID, any of that stuff. But I got asked on Facebook. So this will kind of put a timeline on it. You know, I got asked on Facebook if I do a charity gig.
Oh,
right.
Oh no.
Okay, yeah. So, but the problem was, I find it very hard to say no to gigs, and the problem was, I was asked well in advance. Like, this is like 8 months in advance. And the woman who asked me, I recognized her profile from kind of like always liking my stuff and sharing it. And you know what I mean? She really put the groundwork in. It wasn't one of these people that messaged it that you'd never seen before. So in that moment, I just said, yeah, no problem. And you see, it was for a charity, but it was to do with sick kids, and it was to do with her kid as well. And I mean, how could I?
There's no saying no to that.
How you just?
I think I might even know who you're talking about. But
couldn't say no. Like 8 months in advance, how could I say no? So I said yes. Obviously, completely forgot about it, and then the time rolled around. I was like, oh fuck. So I was in a hotel, and you know, I was kind of just trying to firm up the details. Like, when will I be on? Like, you don't want to say it, but I don't want to be there any longer than I need to be. Tell me my slot.
Yeah.
You know, people say that, like, you know, people always say that to me, like, when you're going to gigs, you must have great crack hanging around for the gig the whole day. And I'm like, honestly, if I can get in 5 minutes before my gig and like say bye to the audience and walk straight out the door and get on a bus, like,
yeah.
And it's not being a prick. It's just like the day is long, and this shit takes place at 11 o'clock at night, and you've been up since 7 in the morning. It's like, you know, let me go in, let me do it, and with great respect to yourself, Tom, and yourself, Emma. I've seen your set 100 times, you know.
Of course, yeah.
Like, you know
the jokes,
and you've seen me. You're not like, I'll stick around and see that. It's like, no, hit it and quit it, gone.
Yeah. Oh, big. Yeah, that's the sweet spot. Like 5 minutes before, in, out, job done. See you later. I just love that. Like, that's the dream. So I was trying to, you know, hone in on that, the sweet spot.
Yeah.
And so, we got a time. We got a kind of a bit of a cash time.
Oh no.
Right. So I said, fine. That's fine. But like, no, but I was confident in the time, because I was told, like, look, if you want to come before, like, absolutely do. There'll be this, that, and the other. And I'm like, you're grand. So went along to the hotel, and I just knew when I went in, I just knew the vibes.
Oh no.
I just knew.
Yeah.
And there had been, and like rightly so. So this was like kind of I think it was like a bit of a fundraiser, but it was more of a kind of a like community get together of other parents that knew each other, and children had been through like the similar kind of thing of like waiting lists, and you know, so they all knew each other.
Yes.
And they were like, this was their support network, right? And there was like maybe a little bit of a raffle, that kind of thing. But there'd been a few people that may have like traveled up to Dublin for the day, you know, first time out on their own for quite a while without the kids. So a bit of booze, just, but nothing bad. But I just got the whack in the air. I was like, here we fucking go. I just knew because, and you see, it wasn't a coherent vibe, right? 50% of the vibe was like, yeah, fucking yeah, like, half an hour off from starting a bonfire in the car park kind of buzz. And then the other buzz was completely sober, trying to keep it all organized and kind of saying, Margaret, does the raffle look okay? Yeah, no, it looks good. Yeah, that.
So what do you aim for?
Where am I going with this? So I'm like, fuck it, we're here now. 20 minutes. And even in my head, I'm trying not to let myself go to that bit of like, fuck it, well, I just do a quick 5 and fuck off. Does anyone care? You know what I mean? It's like, does anyone really fucking care? So I meet the girl who's organizing it, very nice woman, all the rest of it. And I'm just like, kind of like, oh, where do you want me to hang out? I'm kind of looking for, I'm an ex-smoker, but I'm looking for the exits. I'm just like, what? And I'm looking for that single chair down the back for me to fucking sit on and get the shout to come up.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that single chair. And she goes, oh, Emma, sit down. We're just having a bit of food.
Oh, no.
I'm just like, no. I
don't want food. Nobody wants fucking food.
I don't want food. I have food at home. I left food to come here.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But this is not the kind of vibe where, it's not like when you're in like your friend's house and they're like, oh, do you want a bit of this? And you're like, oh, no, I'm grand, honestly. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's a very, this is her baby. She's probably been working on this event for a whole year. So she sits me down at a round table. And people are like ordering food. And I'm just like there with my little fucking notebook going, internal screaming. And it's like being at a wedding. It's like I've been parachuted into a fucking wedding, right? And
do you know what? It's like you've been brought to a wedding by a fella and then he's fucked off with his pals and you're left sitting talking to his aunts. You don't know who anybody is.
Oh, and you can't, you're working though at the same time. So it's like you're at the wedding, but you're actually meant to be serving the food as well. And you just like have to sit down and go, oh, fuck, how's it going? So it's so awkward. And I'm there with my little notebook. And I'm like, I'm going to have to open this notebook now and just like start trying to scramble and think of like, what way am I going to play this? Because I know like it's all going to be made in like the first 5 seconds. I'm just like, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing. There's people shouting down the back. There's people like waitresses ask me what I want. What's like, do I want the soup and everything? I say, yeah. So I'd say, oh no, honestly, I'll just have the tea. I will just have the tea because I physically at this point I can't eat because it will just rest in my neck.
Yeah.
Like it will. There's no way. The saliva, like it's all leaving my body. Do you know what I mean? Like I can already feel my top lip starting to fucking curl up. Like there's no way I'm going to be able to eat. I'm just like, hydrate. I'm just like, no, honestly, just tea, water. And then they're kind of like fussing over me like, oh no, you will, because they've obviously had this fixed in their head that Emma's going to come and she's going to have food and she's going to have a brilliant time. She's doing this big favor and everything. And I was like, yeah. So I'm there with my little notebook. And then I'm like, this is really awkward now. And the man beside me starts talking to me. And I'm just like, yeah, just gonna do, yeah, okay. And he's kind of like, he goes in to ask me another question. And obviously in my head, I'm just like, will you fuck off? But I'm like, yeah, brilliant, blah, blah, blah. So he's there with his wife. And his wife is some doctor, specialist person, okay? And she's going to be speaking at it. I'm like, okay, cool. And she seems lovely. And then I'm kind of like, okay, I'm just going to have to relax into this. And I'm like, oh, like, so what do you do? Or, I'm okay now. I'm relaxing. I'm like, what do you do? And he's like, oh, I work in RT. I'm head of RT 2.
The whole thing.
I shit you not.
So now there's a TV exec in the fucking room. Oh my God.
And he's sitting beside me. He's sitting beside me. I tried to blank him for 5 minutes. And now I've eventually started talking to him. And I'm starting to like relax a little bit and go, fuck it, it is what it is. And then he's like, head at RT2. And when he said his name, I knew because he used to work in a production company called Animo. So I kind of like look at names and stuff. So then when he said it, I probably would have copped it sooner, but I was probably still tense. So then when he said it, I was like, oh, fuck.
I'm getting a fucking stress headache here, and there hasn't been a joke told yet, Emma.
My hands are sweating at the notion of this because I've been in this fucking...
There hasn't been a gag.
Like you would be, you would be wishing to be sitting beside this guy and have his ear for 10 minutes.
And
imagine
any other environment. A funeral, a fucking funeral on the edge of a volcano, anywhere far.
This doesn't even sound like a gig. I haven't heard mention of a stage or a microphone. This is just like Emma's worst trip to a dinner dance.
Are you the only act? What is going on? Like,
I'm the only thing going on.
Oh,
it's you and the raffle.
There's a raffle, right? And what's happening is there's parents going up and talking. And saying, for free, I swear. So there's parents going, for 5 years, we were contacting whoever, and you'll all know yourselves. We've all, this kind of thing. Like emotional stuff.
Yeah.
And now the comedy stylings of Emma Doran.
Yeah. So, but who goes up before? Who goes up before me? His wife goes up, the doctor. I didn't know. There was no running order. I had no access to anything like that. So, oh my God, I'm actually remembering something else. There's worse stuff. But
please.
She gets up and she's a doctor and she says something about being a doctor, or you know what I mean, obviously. But it's really powerful. Like it's really like, wow. Do you know what I mean? Wow.
And all I'm thinking is Emma's got like silly dick jokes and stuff in her head going, la, 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 la. Oh, for fuck's sake, here she is talking about diseases and conditions and stuff like that. Oh, how do I...
So she wraps up. Now, I think there could have been, I think there was a standing ovation for her or something. Do you know what I mean? But there was a very, like, a very warm reception, very well received. And then it was time for me. So the woman, the woman who organised it went up and introduced me. And it's at that moment where that was the perfect moment for people to kind of like take a break.
Yeah.
And go, let's have a little intermission now, and people go off and go for a smoke or whatever. So I got up then, and I'm surprised I was able to hold the mic and it didn't just like slide out of my hand. I think I was like, right, I'm just going to start with an old classic, old reliable. Like I had a joke about knocking down a cyclist. I'm like, right, that's gone.
That's gone.
You know what I mean? That's gone.
I just love the notion that you wrote that at the top of your notes. Open. Oh no, you looked around the room and then went, I'll draw a fucking line through that. Thank you very much. No, that's fine.
Get out. Draw the line through a lot of stuff. So I started off with something to do, something about talent or something. I was like, right, let's just start like hacky, easy, something we can all get on board with. But the people who were hammered down the back, they were standing up still. You know the way, like, if you're hammered, you're kind of on like delayed time. I don't think they'd sat back down after the standing ovation. So they kind of started moving towards me. It was so strange. And then obviously all the organizer people are on a completely different buzz now. Like they're still sitting around doing the raffle and whatever. So they kind of started to move towards me. Now it was really bad. Like it was really fucking bad. And I was so like, this is a good few years ago, but now if I'd be doing a gig, I'd be just like, I would just stop and I would just start talking to people.
Yeah.
I did a bit of that, but it was just like incoherent down the people from the back. I should have stuck with the more like the sober people, but I think I hadn't done enough of those like non-comedy club gigs.
Yeah.
To know. So I kind of I was like, oh, they're not shy, I'll talk to them. And and it's just like comedy cul-de-sac and like, oh.
Were they still standing? Like, were they like
Yeah, they were kind of moving towards me.
Yeah, like The Walking Dead. I've seen that before.
Yeah,
where you nearly sneak up on them, because the thing is, you're talking on stage and they're talking amongst each other. Then they go, whoa, what? And they start meandering slowly, and then you find one kind of with a hand on their hip, leaning on a table, going, "He's fucking telling jokes. He's up there telling jokes."
Yeah,
and you've been going 10 minutes at this stage.
Totally. And you see, there's no stage.
Oh,
so they
fuck.
probably there is
Where
a
are
mic.
you?
There is a mic. I'm just in a hotel. I'm just like in a function room. So there is a mic, but there's no stage. So they probably, I don't know whether they thought I was like doing the raffle.
Like like everybody else. Here's what gets me. This is like I reckon like people have like a sense to know when a comedian is there, that they can start doing whatever the fuck they want. Because every other person that got up on that not stage so far today had charitable things to say, and whether you were paying attention or not, you would have known that this was a somewhat not a heckling occasion, but just the minute a comedian gets up, they fucking know it's blood in the water to these sharks.
Yeah, and I
think they wouldn't have started walking around while that doctor was on. Yeah, start milling around the back.
No, do you know what, that is totally it. And as well, like if we've all been at things where you've been hammered, but it's like somebody has gotten up to speak, and it's so physically draining to stay normal and quiet and make sure to clap at the end and have like all the right expressions and stuff, and not be like giggling with somebody when it's a serious thing or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'd say they just saw me and there's like just let it out. But it was truly horrific. It was like, when I say it was outer body, I'm not joking. Like, I'm not joking, honest to God. And I did make eye contact with your man, the Ortiz guy, Adrian.
I forgot about him.
Yeah. No, I made, and you know what was really actually fucking horrible about it was when I had calmed down and I'd actually been chatting to him and his wife at the table. We were actually having lovely chats, and they both seemed really nice. And I just remember looking over at him, and it really felt like, a father's disappointment look.
You know what I mean? We've ruined this now, haven't I? Well, I've ruined this. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And just a disappointment looking, going, oh, she was such a nice girl before now. She was so nice. So nice. Oh.
No, I'm done. Now you see, this is the real thing.
Oh, there's more.
You've enough, Emma. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thanks very much. That's it.
We're good. We got our time. This doesn't need.
My hands can't sweat anymore. As
this story does not need an and then. We're good.
I can't. I have to go back and sit at the table.
What?
No, you don't.
You don't. Why do you have to do that?
Why do you have to do that?
No, I'm in it now. Do you know what I mean? All my stuff is there anyway, and my notebook and everything. So I have to go back to the table, and I'm trying to go, and I'm trying to thank your one, and she gives me this goodie bag thing and thanks me so much. I'm like, yeah, just like, I don't even want to take the fucking bag. I'm just like, no. And we all have these bars of chocolate on our tables, right? And she's like, oh, you have to open your bar of chocolate before you leave. You have to open your bar of chocolate before you leave. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what the fuck this is. So I open up the bar, right? Up the bar, like, and it has a golden ticket in it, and they're like, oh my god, yes, oh my god. I'm like, did I win a fucking car? Like, what's going on? And they're like, oh my god, you're in the dance off later.
You're in the fucking what?
Oh god, I just threw up all over the inside of my mouth, all over it. Oh jeez, because I thought you were going to be actually having to do the raffle, which I've been caught to do before, and then I got into a fight with a very young. They want you to fucking what? No. This you're making this up now at this stage. No fucking way.
This has become a fucking kidnapping, is what this is.
Yeah. Hostage situation. You're in the dance off later. I was like, and that's when
you've said that twice, Emma. But I think some of our listeners and myself, I'm going to need a bit of clarification as to what the fuck this is.
So basically, what they did was this was obviously one of the entertainment things that they did. So when I left, that's when they started playing music. So at least there was that. At least it wasn't like kind of like, you know, feedback and the room is silent and whatever.
Yeah.
They whacked on the music straight away. So I kind of started trying to like pack up my bits and whatever. And I had a chocolate bar on my table. And they're like, oh, you have to open your chocolate bar before you go. I'm like, okay, Grant, I can open a fucking chocolate bar before I go. That's absolutely fine. And at this stage as well, I'm actually looking at the time because it's rocking up to about 10. And I'm thinking, I'm going to have to hit the off license and get something. I wasn't planning to, but I'm just like, yeah, probably hadn't drank in a few months, but I'm just like, I need
this is
something.
nagging written all over this house.
Yeah, totally. So I'm like, cool, I'll open the bar of chocolate, and it has a golden ticket in it. And she gets all excited and she's like, oh my God, you're in the dance off later. Like as if I had a golden ticket for the dance off. And there was a big prize for the dance off. So I was like, sorry, what's the dance off was going to be? Oh no, but it's totally fun. The dance off is going to be like, you're reassure you, Emma. No, it's really good.
Oh no,
fun.
this isn't grim. This is good crack.
Yeah, no, don't worry. This isn't humiliating. We're not going to like, you know, elongate the humiliation for you today. No, this is absolutely cool. It's a dance off, and there's like some prize or whatever. So we're all kind of laughing, and I was like, dance, yeah. And I just stood up and I said, I have to go. I actually do have to go. And I left, and I just said to your man, Adrian, I just said, I'm actually just going to hit the off license. And he's like, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
He was in total agreement. Yeah. I would do that too if I were you.
Like, they didn't give you a bar of chocolate on the off chance there was a gold ticket in it. They spiked you with a gold ticket.
Yeah,
they spiked you for sure, because she'd be gas. Emma loves to dance. Sure, she does some sketches. Sure, she'd love to dance. Oh my shit!
It was horrific. And to be honest,
I mean, like, you know, I'm kind of sorry you didn't stick
time.
around for it, because
no,
this story couldn't take that, Jerry.
You probably know the hotel, but like
I know exactly, and
I don't know the hotel, but I have a very definite hotel in mind.
Yeah, in the grounds of it, there's an off license, so I went to the off license and drove out. And
I have a funny feeling. I almost got that gig as well.
Really? Yeah. No, it was a few years ago, I'd say.
Yeah,
like,
something
probably,
very. Was it 5 or 6 years ago?
Yeah.
I think something very similar came my way, and then I got caught. I got nabbed a couple of months later on a similar vein, but it didn't end up as horrendous as yours.
And no money or anything.
That's what I was going to say. It's the killer is you shot out the door, and you were considering buying a packet of fucking Johnny Blues and a fucking naggin. Haven't been on the flags in years. Haven't drank in months, but this is fucking sent me over the edge. I'm going to drink and smoke driving home.
I gotta tell you guys, it's a real comedian's mentality. That Tom, you said that you were called for this gig. Emma, you actually did the gig, and I'm over here having heard the horror show that it was, with a little tinge of, why the fuck didn't I get called? What's wrong with McBride? McBride's phone over here is silent. What the fuck? All right, go fuck me, I guess.
Oh my! And the running vein as almost to all our worst gigs as well, Emma. And I think it was Rory O'Hanlon pointed out the elephant in the room one evening. We were talking about these situations, and he said comedy will never go right when it's not in a comedy environment. It can't. Yeah. If you're doing it in a hotel and it's you don't even have a fucking pallet to stand on, so there's no focal point, and so many factors. Here, sit down there and eat with us, and then put down your fork and knife in the middle of your turkey and ham, and get up and tell us some funnies there, and then come back down and finish off your turkey and ham. We'll keep it warm for you, and when you're done, and then sure, look, you can do the dance off. You can do the dance. What's not to love about this gig? And here, you're not getting a bean for it. You're not getting a fuck. We feed her. We fucking fed her and give her a bar of chocolate and let her dance.
Yeah, you see, I think that's what it was. I think that's why there was such a panic around making me eat, because I wasn't getting paid. So in their minds, it was like justified to themselves that, well, at least she was getting a soup of the day and whatever. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
That's fucking bleak, Emma. Jesus, I thought you were going to come at us handy there, going, lads, because that. I mean,
but you know what? Credit to me. I'm a fucking, bottom of the food pile comedian through and through. Did fucking email the RT fella the next day. Fucking.
That's how it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you did.
No fucking shame.
your ball's in at that stage. You're all the way in. You're going, well, sure, look, if we miss it.
We were nearly, not quite. Do you know what I mean? Not quite, but we were nearly all in it together in a way, but not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And if it was any other environment,
you are a combat unit, but you are the mine sniffing dog here.
Yeah. They sent you out into no man's land first to find a plan.
We're in this together,
exactly.
Emma. Push.
Yeah, exactly. Someone has to test the parachute.
I know, but look, I'm trying to get back to gigging. All the same.
Yes.
And Emma, you are not silent throughout all this. You've got a podcast of your own, and even though it may take a listener away from me and Tom, we don't mind you plugging it right now. So
I think to be honest with you, I think the Venn diagram is judging on the emails we get. I think the Venn diagram is very similar. I think we've a lot of crossover anyway. But do please tell us all about, because it's long running at this stage now.
It is, yeah, it's a long one. So it's up to 90, and it's myself and Julie J, and it's once a week. And I mean, we talk about what's going on in the world.
It's very good crack. Who did your intro?
Tom, that's what we need. We're a podcast with that focus.
We're literally the Tom and Jerry show is literally the up to 90. It's literally the same thing. Bar the girls have been
it's just too late.
They're like, we talk about things. So we're like, fucking
exactly.
Pretty fucking much.
Well, and people can, of course, as the kids say, find that where you find your favorite podcasts. And all
they'll find it anywhere now.
On our socials, and anybody that wants another podcast to listen to, Emma and Julie will see you right there with it up to 90.
Brilliant.
Thanks, Emil.
Brilliant.
Thanks for having me.
That was bleak, Emma, and exactly the level of bleakness we needed. Thank you.
We're recording this, and you hate to pull back the cover of podcast production, but we're recording this in the morning at 10:30, and I'm like, God damn it, where is the fucking nearest off license to me right now?
I go back on the fags.
Emma, thanks a million. Take care.
Thanks, Emil.
Cheers, Emma.
Now, Tom, hard to say if I'll ever do comedy again with stories like that coming thick and fast.
Can you see the shine on my hands, Jerry? Can you see the shine? I'm actually, I didn't know my hands had pores. I'm not the most fucking stoic, hard-faced fucker, but I can deal with most situations. But Emma's telling of that story. Oh, Jesus Christ.
You know what? And charity gigs, book us for them. We gladly do them. Like, you don't get paid for them, so that's okay. You're not taking money out of anyone's pockets, but we will gladly donate our time. But please, for the love of God, we don't need a carvery.
No. Let us just sit in a private room by ourselves until
we'll do our best. We'll do our best to entertain you as our donation to the cause. But goddamn. Tom,
that was a good story. I love that story. Brilliant. I knew Emma wouldn't disappoint.
Not even slightly. And be sure to check out Up to 90 with herself and Julie J, wherever you find your podcasts. And wherever you find your podcasts, you'll find this one, The Tom and Jerry Show. You know that. You're listening to it already. But if there's anybody that you know that you might think might like a podcast, recommend us, please, for the love of God. Just because season 5 has ended doesn't mean our need for validation has.
Hence why we keep on pumping out these bonus episodes. But that's the thing, Jer. We will keep pumping out these bonus episodes for the next few weeks until, of course, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But we've got a rake of them lined up for you. So, you know yourself, tune in every single Thursday morning. We'll have this in your ear holes. So you know the crack, rate, review, the whole lot. We do have a winner, Jer, of the top comment.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah, we announced on the very final, or the final one, and we'll put it out over. So there is a prize coming to you. He actually had quite a strange name, but if you recognize it, keep an eye on the Tom and Jerry Show social channels, whether it be Twitter or Instagram. And if that is your name, then please, because it was a bloody good comment. So you've won yourself the top comment prize. But keep them coming. Keep the comments coming. Keep the 5-star reviews coming, because of course it makes it easier for everybody to find. And as Jerry said, if you know somebody, if your only way to do it is roll it up and stick it in their pocket, a little note that says Tom and Jerry Show. It won't disappoint them.
There you go. And you'll also find us on our social media channels on Instagram and Twitter, as Tom says. And that's important, because that's the only way you're going to know who's going to be next week's guest on My Worst Gig Ever, dropping on Thursday. So keep an eye out on our Twitter or on our Instagram, and you will find out Or you could just like wake up of a Thursday morning, stick it in your ear holes, and be like, holy shit, they got him, holy fuck.
I like that idea. Just a little present, little Easter egg for you there on a Thursday morning. Just stick it into your holes. You know you won't disappoint. Jared, let's saddle up and head on out.
Yes. Goodbye.
Good luck.